All right, Golan-Globus Theater. We just probably heard some Disco Godfather. We were just talking about what music we're going to use. We're pretty sure it's Disco Godfather. And I'm thrilled. My whole confusion about how to support the troops will be completely tossed under the rug this week because, hey, man, Rudy Ray's he's a troop.
A veteran.
He was an Army.
That's right.
Did he fight in a war, or was he just a peacetime?
No, he was more peacetime. In fact, he ended up in
because no one wanted to mess with the Army with Rudy Ray on the books.
How could you want to? I heard he was sexually discharged for being too appealing.
Sexually discharged?
Sexually discharged.
Well, he came out there with his 50.
I know that he's sexually discharged. I don't know if he was sexually discharged.
No,
did we even
discharged.
say our man Mike's back? I'm gonna say it right now. Our number one guest.
By the time this episode will be out, you're probably gonna be number one.
You went from worst to first, Mike.
In
almost
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
That
2 weeks. There we go.
That is insane.
It is insane. So
and we're happy
yes.
for you. And we're happy to have you back.
That's why you're getting the sweet show I'm displaying here with my nips almost blasting, and of course, sugar-free or real sugar Pepsi.
That's right. You treat your number one guest with class, man. This is great. True. Like I didn't even have
sugar-free
to ask for
Pepsi's for closers, buddy.
Oh.
You're a closer.
Closers. Real sugar. I keep saying sugar-free. It's real sugar.
Yes.
We give him the sugar.
Sugar cane.
That's right.
He gives us the sweets, so we give him the treats.
Ooh, I like that.
That sounded very much like Rudy Ray Moore would say.
Rudy Ray Moore.
You are channeling Rudy Ray right now.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. He, in this movie, does not wear... He wears one jacket. Actually, no, he wears a couple, like, total button-ups. But for the most part, when he's the Disco Godfather, he's got these cutout outfits where it's like Roxo the Clown, or the
or like
swoop.
Freddie Mercury.
Dr. Roxo.
Yeah, Dr. Roxo, where the swoop goes all the way down to just above his dick.
Yeah, the David Lee Roth meat suit, man.
Yeah, the meat suit. I like that. So, yeah, I got my button on.
And well, we also got to point out, like, first of all, if you guys don't know who Rudy Ray Moore is, what the fuck's wrong with you? Also, you need to know.
Some people aren't as privileged. I had you guys to help me into the Rudy Ray world, but I was like 25 or something.
Wow.
When you
wasted life.
It really was.
I just wanted to point out that at the time of this filming, we're talking about sexy as outfits are. Rudy Ray Moore, if you don't know who he is he was probably like 50 in his 50s at the time. He's like he's not fat. He's just like out of shape. Like, he's an out of shape black guy. Not particularly handsome, but
he's a charmer.
Yeah,
he definitely is.
The dude oozes charisma.
Right.
I dare you to look. Like, I put the Instagram post up of my favorite outfit from this movie, that gold jacket he was wearing, where he's just no shirt, just the gold like suit jacket.
He never wears a shirt, yeah.
But
except when he's like undercover.
Yeah,
right.
But he's got this smile on. It's so infectious. This man is just to die for.
I had a smile on my face, and you know I don't like to smile.
You don't like to smile.
Whole movie, I loved it.
I love that Rudy Ray brings it out of you.
He does.
So, I mean, we've got too much to go over in this top half because everyone's got a little story about Rudy Ray except for me. I'm too lame. Mike, hit us off. What's your deal with Rudy?
Controversial here. Little hot take.
Oh,
I actually got into blaxploitation somewhere between the ages 12 or 13. About the same time I really started diving into horror because of how much I hated Golan-Globus movies.
Oh,
whoa!
my dad would get drunk, pop on a Canon or Canon-esque film, and it was all, an ex-Marine or an ex-cop comes back for one last mission.
That sounds really good.
No,
it all felt like the same movie, and I just remember
do that next week. Actually, don't shit on it.
No. I eventually came around as an adult and appreciated them, but I was going through the video store looking.
You're going through a phase,
right?
Okay.
The video store was just a mom and pop place, so they let me rent rated R movies as long as
Video Mania?
No, it was Video Club 6 at 7 Mile and Inkster Road.
Okay.
They're no longer there.
I remember
Fantastic
that
guys, but they were like, just don't let your mom catch you and you're good. So I was going through all the movies and I saw a VHS copy of Dolomite and the cover of Rudy Ray Moore with a submachine gun and all these women like at his ankles.
And he's punching on that cover, right?
I don't remember if he's punching.
I saw the exact same. I think it was Blockbuster for me, but
was
that was like I saw this really unattractive black man with all these women, like the famous like Conan picture where
Right.
Conan's standing there and the women are all up on
Yeah.
his you know.
I will say, the summary for this movie on IMDb is like the flabbiest of fabs or something like that. I was like, oh wow,
That's fantastic.
Both very true.
But yeah, I rented Dolomite, and I was like, wait, this guy's not an ex-cop. He's a poet, martial artist, club-owning pimp. This is amazing. And from that point on, I was like,
man.
Any movie from the 70s starring a black person, I am in on. And for the most part, I have not been disappointed. They've all been great.
This is like a page out of his book, though, because, Rudy Ray was like a preacher. He went into the army and entertained, and he was a fucking nightclub owner for the whole time. He danced at nightclubs. Like, this works so well because this is him.
Right.
Like, you can tell he's loving every second of it.
Right.
Like, I love this movie, and it's not even my favorite Rudy Ray Moore movie.
Yeah. This is actually one of his lesser ones, and I fucking loved it.
Right,
Yeah.
which is why we picked it, right?
Right. Well, everybody's done Dolomite. We
Yeah.
wanted to do like a little different, mix it up a little.
I mean, this one has my absolute favorite Rudy Ray line, I think, in any movie, and which is, I know what you guys are both thinking, but it's actually like the fight we're going to get into at the very end when he's just getting ready to fight. He's fighting 8 people, and then this guy just wanders by. They're like in the middle of a deserted city. This guy wanders by, and he goes, these guys make PCP in there. And the guy goes, oh shit, PCP, tosses his shirt and starts fighting too.
He cares about his community, man.
I fucking love this.
So good. It's so good.
Oh,
Yeah, I
God.
mean, I guess the best way to describe Rudy Ray, if you know Red Fox from Sanford and Son, he's like the dirtier version of Red Fox, and Red Fox was known as being pretty dirty.
Yeah,
Like,
Red Fox
He was
is kinda
like Rudy
filthy.
Ray. Like Red Fox was like the mainstream version of Rudy Ray. Like Rudy Ray, you had to like be underground. He was like the cool people knew who Rudy Ray was.
Would you say that Red Fox couldn't quite put his weight on it?
No, he couldn't put his weight on it.
A little bit of weight, but not a lot. He was the lightweight champion. Rudy Ray was the heavyweight.
Well, I don't want to brag, guys, but I can one up you, Mike.
Oh.
I was actually lucky. Back in like probably mid to late 90s, I got to see the man himself, Rudy Ray Moore, perform.
Was that Back in the Shadows?
Oh, shit.
Back in the Shadows, yes.
Shadows.
So it was
we
at-
harmonized real good on that.
that was really nice. So it was at the Magic Bag, and this is back when it was like because it used to be like a movie theater, so the seating was still like a movie theater. So you had an aisle down the middle, and you had rows. So they were showing Dolomite first. And then Rudy Ray was going to do his comedy act. So we get there. It's a mixture of crowds. About 2/3 black people who were just hardcore Rudy Ray fans. There was that hipster element that was there. They let's ironically like this shit. And of course there was my cool ass. So they play Dolomite, and these 2 white girls come in. They sit down. Apparently, they didn't know anything about Dolomite. They weren't aware he's a pimp because they got offended by it and walked out.
Oh, jeez.
So they probably went to go on to be the mothers of these annoying people that are like the gatekeepers of what's is or isn't offensive on the internet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what were you expecting? Why are you here?
No credit for all of his women being trained martial artists.
No, none at all.
Okay.
And it's like,
Cool.
why did you waste your money? They didn't even okay, you don't like the movie. You're not. They didn't even come back for the second half.
I mean, this is at a time in Detroit's stature where it was wasn't quite where it is now. There wasn't a lot of people just living downtown where they could pop into the place. So it's you got to go out of your way to get the Magic Bag.
Yeah.
So that's even weirder.
So the Dolomite play is great. We all love it. And then first they had an MC come out, and he did a little bit of comedy. And then they had a girl come out dressed as Tina Turner, and she did a Tina Turner act.
That sounds good.
Where she did the "Rolling on a River" song.
I fucking love this show.
And then the man himself, Rudy Ray, comes out.
It feels like he's the man who needs no introduction, but I love that he always has somebody introduce him.
Yes, he had the guy introduce him. And first off, he comes out one of his famous bits, the ABCs of sex. So he's like, somebody throw out a letter. And then somebody goes,
B is for the balls. Each man has a pair. in a wrinkled old sack all covered with hair.
And then he's like, hey, give me another one. Somebody goes, I.
I is for inches. Every man would like to have about 10, so he won't have no trouble trying to keep it in.
And then people are like, oh, I'm going to really fuck his shit up. I'm going to... Q! He had a fucking one for Q, Griff, and it sounded a little something like...
Q is for quiver. Baby, it make you shake like hell. It's what your wife will call you them good old sweet names when you are fucked her well.
And then finally, guy's like, I know you don't have shit for Z, motherfucker. And it's like, motherfucker, I do.
Z is for zero, which is mighty damn cold. It's the temperature of a man's nuts when he's 80 years old.
And then I think after he did the ABC, I think he did the Signifying Monkey, the classic story.
We heard the very...
The edited version.
Right.
I had to
the
make
Griff
sure
safe version.
We got to make sure it's good for Christian ears. That's why I left hell in there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Well, I just want to tell everybody, this is the Not Safe for Work episode of Golan-Globus Theater because we're getting all deep into this shit.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it printed and released on cassette tape with a parental advisory sticker on it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
then he goes into his routine, and then there's this moment where he starts just going up the aisle, picking out people and ripping on them like a Don Rickles thing.
Oh, nice.
So I'm there with my sister and my friend Doug. Doug's probably listening. So hey, Doug. Doug's a cool guy, but he looks like a very straight-laced white guy. Like he's got glasses, very clean cut. I was just waiting for him to rip because Doug was right on the end of the seat on the aisle, and he would come up right up near him. And then turn to the other way and then rip on somebody. So Doug escaped unscathed, but he was close. We were we were close there. I wanted to see it, but that's because I wasn't in the crosshairs.
And then when he gets burned, you talk to him after the show and have him sign that burn.
Right.
Right. And so then he did the rest of the set, and then that was it. And then this is my one regret. I don't know what was going on. Maybe probably my sister wanted to leave, but I could have met him. Didn't take up that opportunity. So that's one of my biggest regrets in life.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, well, shit happens.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to live forever. I didn't know he was going to die.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. The last movie he was featured in, Big Money Hustlers.
Yep, that's enough time devoted to that movie. Anyway.
That's
hey, good job, Mike. Wow,
yeah.
you really
We're trying to bring it up, Griff. We're not trying to oh shit.
Quick memo on that movie. It was done by the Insane Clown Posse. So
Hometown Heroes.
Hometown Heroes. Bigger than Eminem, according to some. Well, you know what? I will say, Eminem doesn't have any fucking carnival for his fans. ICP does.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add to that either.
Okay.
Whoop whoop. I don't know.
It's whoop.
Oh.
Hey, calm down, ninja.
Yeah. So, is that it? Do we? Is everyone set? Does everyone now know what Rudy Ray is about? Can we get into this movie, Griff?
I mean, we're gonna be hammering people with Rudy Ray bits. We're gonna be yelling at them to put their weight on it. What else can they expect in this next hour?
Pure joy.
Hopefully,
yes.
pure joy.
Uncut.
Yeah.
Pure
joy.
I
can't say even, no matter how good we make it sound, it's better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just, like a heartfelt statement to all the listeners. If you don't watch the movies that they're covering, please, you owe it to yourself to at least watch this one.
Yes. I agree. Well, let's do it then, Griff. Rudy Ray Moore in Disco Godfather. Put your weight on it.
Put your weight on it.
Put your weight on it.
Put your weight on it. Disco Godfather. Let's meet and greet the Disco Godfather.
He's the godfather of the
All right. Put your weight on it. Put your weight on it. Put your weight on it. All right, everybody out there, you got your mind on the wonder and your ass on the loose. Come on, get funky in here. Shoot the deuce to the goose. From the north to the south, from coast to coast. The Godfather here's gonna give you the most. All right, put your weight on it. 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 I'm the Godfather, and my name is Tucker. Everybody knows that I'm a bad mother.
The hit me. I want them alive.
Disco Godfather.
Got to get rid of everything. I'm a restricted businessman in this community.
Talk! Who sent you? In the taste. I'm rough and tough and don't take no stuff. Yes, this is the Godfather talking to you. I want you to put a little slide in your glide, and some soul in your soul, and some zip in your hip, some strut in your gut. Get down, this is the place to be. If you need a little loving, you can call on me.
We're flying high on a disco trip. All across the Pacific USA. In Atlanta, we love you. New York City, Frisco too. Miami, Chicago, and LA. Come on and dance. Let's dance. Come on and dance.
If you crave satisfaction, this is a place to find that action. Coming to this theater as its next attraction is the picture that will put you in traction. Disco Godfather, starring me, Rudy Ray Moore. Disco Godfather.
All right, welcome back. Pretty great trailer, and I just gotta say, this fucking podcast is really starting to cost us money. We have not had an advertiser in a while now, so I hope you got some fucking good news on that front.
Well, Griff, as you know, I can tap in, thanks to my Nang Chen tail that I got from Sensei Seagal, I can tap into the spirit world, talk to the elders. I did it one time with Charles Bronson, and I did it again this week with Rudy Ray Moore, Griff.
Excuse me? You talked to Rudy Ray himself.
I spoke to the spirit of Rudy Ray Moore because I had this great idea. You know, we've cornered the market on hair care products. I don't know why,
we really
because
do.
we don't have great hair. But
hey, we don't choose the market. We just ride the wave.
Right. Shark Tank. And we've got a little headway in food, but I think we needed to do something more. So I went to the man himself, Rudy Ray Moore, to get his blessing for this product.
Okay.
I thought it was a perfect thing because, Griff, I can't think of anything more white than camping. Like, do you know anyone non-white who's into camping? Seriously. Have you ever met a black person who says, I can't wait to go camping?
No.
You know, on the Valenti and Foster show, I'm pretty sure Foster always talked about, like, what's with you white people?
Yeah, I mean, where I come from, we call it homelessness. We don't. There's no such thing as camping. So I figured we gotta funk it up, man. We need to get because it's all about inclusiveness. Golan-Globus Theater is about inclusiveness, and so are our products.
All right.
So I came up with this great idea. It's something that goes along with camping. It'll make you want to camp.
Okay.
I call it Rudy Ray S'mores.
It really just dances on your tongue.
I know it. I sold it right there, but let me sell it to you a little bit more. Let's listen to what the idea I have behind it. Let's do that, group. Is your camping experience lacking in soul? Are your hunger pains out of control? Are you looking for a funky-ass treat then Rudy Ray S'mores cannot be beat. Start up the campfire and grab all your shit. Pull up a chair and put your weight on it. Then pick up a stick as big as his dick and put some marshmallows on it really quick. Roast those marshmallows until they get sticky. And this is the part where it gets kinda tricky. The darkest of chocolate all up on those white pillowy mounds, like some interracial food fucking at these here sexy campgrounds. Then 2 crispy-ass crackers are placed on each side. It's like an orgy of flavor with Dolomite as your guide. The final ingredient in angel dust dipping to fuck your shit up and get your ass tripping. Whether you're a pimp or a hoe or some rat soup eating hunky, Rudy Ray S'mores will make you a snack food junkie.
Man, that does sound like a fucking awesome product.
Doesn't it?
I'm
eating one right now.
I'm still a little distracted.
And you know what, guys? No, what's the thing people can't eat anymore?
Gluten?
Gluten, yeah, there's no gluten. I think. I don't know.
I like that I do because your vocabulary of things people don't is like 2 things right now.
Yeah.
So gluten had to be the
no
one.
No gluten, no trans fat, I think.
Trans fat, that's an old trigger word from like 10 years ago.
What?
Wow.
That was the gluten of the early 2000s.
I gotta say, I love the ad. I'm glad because that's
Thank
going to
you.
bring in the big bucks, and
Thank
I know
you.
it. Where are we in with? We're Walmart? Are we like Target?
I've been in,
no, it's got to be Target.
I've been in talks with some of the finest gas stations in the Metro Detroit area.
God damn it! Are we going to replace the Subways?
Yes.
Are we finally replacing Subways?
I don't know if we'll go
gas
that
stations?
far. We're not going to have restaurants. It's just little snack foods.
Yeah, I get it, but let's just go ahead and remove Subways from gas stations.
All I'm saying is,
That's a win-win.
Hostess, look the fuck out, all right? We're coming at you with some Rudy Ray S'mores.
We're coming at you. Is this really all you talk to Rudy Ray about, though? Like, hey, man, we need to make some money. Did you ask him how much weight to keep on it?
I had a heart-to-heart with him. I was going to talk to you about it off the air because he gave me a lot of knowledge I don't want our competitors to hear.
Okay.
Because when you're fucking ruling the world of Golan-Globus podcast, there's a lot of imitators. And
This is true.
Fuck them.
Let's just go ahead and just quell this for me right now. Quell. I don't even know if that's a word.
Yes.
Who cares?
I don't know if it's used properly, but that is a word.
Quell this for me right
Okay.
now.
Oh, well.
Did you not even ask him about how much weight to put on it?
That slipped my mind. And I don't know why, because he says it 5 fucking million times in this movie.
I'm so disappointed.
Sorry, man. I got caught up in the s'mores.
You better show me some green numbers on that next week. Otherwise, I'm going to be still very disappointed.
Griff,
in
we're
you.
going up. That's the only direction we're going.
So, let's go ahead and let's talk about this. I need someone else to take it for a minute here. I just got to cool off.
Okay. Mike,
Well, it's going to be easy. I already got my nips out.
Yeah, Mike, take it. Take it away. How does
Take
this
it away,
movie
Mike.
start?
All right, this movie starts with the club scene, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a very long club scene. There's a lot of I love this fucking movie. You should definitely listen to it, see it. But there's a lot of padding in this movie too.
Nobody pads their junk in this movie.
No.
That's
I
a
didn't mean that.
horrible joke.
Yes, it was.
So,
Wait, now this movie came out in '79, so we're at the height of the disco era. Fortunately, I had to live through that era. You guys don't know how rough it was.
has Kiss's Dynasty been released yet?
I think that was '80, but it might have been
Okay.
'79. Yes, that was. Everyone had their disco song, and then a couple years later, everyone had their new wave song. Like everyone had skinny ties. All of a sudden, you got people in like fucking drummer from Judas Priest as a skinny ties. Like what the fuck's going on? But I digress. So yes, we're in a discotheque, the Blueberry Hill discotheque.
Ooh, Blueberry Hill. That's a very nice name for a.
He found his thrills on Blueberry Hill.
Found his thrills on Blueberry Hill. Wow, it rhymes.
I also want to point out because Griff, you said at the beginning of this episode you were so into all the different outfits that Rudy Ray wore because he had a different outfit for every scene.
Yeah, 8 different wardrobe changes.
Well, all those outfits were furnished by Dolomite Designs.
Ooh.
It says right in the credits.
So does that mean this man, amongst everything else, is also a fashion designer?
Yes.
Yes. He does it all.
He's the real fucking deal.
He can't be
He
stopped.
puts his weight on everything.
Wait on how much weight?
So yeah, we get this long drawn out. They play the entire credits in the beginning of the movie, and we get disco ball, disco dancing, and then we get the MC who's at the DJ table, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen,
The man who needs no introduction.
the person you've been waiting for, the Disco Godfather."
Oh man! And then the beat drops, and he comes out, and he's got 55 rings on. He's got
He's got a
chest
baby.
blaring.
He's got a baby blue like jumpsuit like Elvis wore when in his fat period.
Oh yeah, and then like the
Look-
choker of diamonds.
Look up James Brown, Zaire, Africa, 1974, and that's a pretty accurate representation of the outfit.
He's got some
Dolomite.
He's got some
Disco Godfather.
He's got some high-heeled silver boots on.
Oh, looking so good.
dude. Oh,
And he's
my
like,
God.
and you, I didn't notice it. You pointed out he created the Wakanda Forever move with his like arms crossing. He
Yeah.
did that first. Not only I can't believe we didn't even bring this up. Rudy Ray Moore invented hip hop. People, he was the first fucking rhymer, dude.
Yeah.
That was like a big part of his comedy.
I swear I read something where he's like credited by some to be like the godfather of rap as well, but
Is there anything he can't do?
No.
lose weight in his midsection. I mean,
I bet he didn't want to.
I don't think he
He
wanted
wanted
to.
more weight to put on.
Yeah. God damn it! How much? I just love that we see it.
It's like chicken or the egg. You'll never know
Right.
the answer.
You'll know when it's time for you to know.
I'm so like
I know because he told me, but I'm not divulging that secret. I'll tell you guys off mic.
okay. I'm gonna move this plot along. So we're just having a fucking awesome time.
Right.
DG comes out there. He's just shredding the records.
He's doing the Soul Train line. He's going down the line, doing the moves.
Oh, I thought he started up the record and was twisting and shaking.
No, he's
and-
dancing down the line, getting to the
'Cause-
stage, man.
You know, I made fun of his midsection, but we see his back section, and man, when he
has some
clenches that,
action in the back section.
he's got more than action. It's
Rudy
like
got back.
Rudy got back. Like you see that onesie like plunge straight in there, and it's all. It looks like something out of Jean-Claude Van Damme's closet. Like it's flexing ass. He's got it there.
Yeah, so he finally makes it to the DJ booth.
I like that I was moving the plot along, and all I did was talk about Rudy Ray's ass.
Yes.
Let me move this plot along.
It was mesmerizing. And he's the master of the mixing board. So everyone's just like, fuck yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, they're loving. They were having a great time before Disco Godfather came out to start spinning the wax, if you will.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
and then once he got there, it was just complete chaos.
I mean, we got to bring some kind of controversy. We got to bring some other element into this because it's just too much fun.
Right.
So, who do we meet in this scene?
Well, we meet his nephew, Bucky.
And Bucky, he's playing coy, man. He's on the sidelines, and his girl, she's all like, "Come
I
on,
like the
let's dance.
sidelines.
Let's dance, Bucky. Let's dance." He's like, "Oh man, I don't feel like dancing." She's like, "Come on,
Yeah.
come on, Bucky, I want to dance." He's
Yeah,
like,
he-
no. Then finally, she's like, "Bucky, come on, let's dance." He's like,
He's got like,
"All right, I'll get out there."
You can tell he's upset. Something's going on with Bucky.
yeah, he's worked up about something. He's got the shitty friend telling him like,
With
fuck,
a gigantic fucking like hat. Like,
Yeah.
It's like the cap the dude wears from AC/DC, but 20 times larger.
there's a lot of really big hats in this movie.
Oh yeah,
But he's like, come on, Bucky, let's go outside. I got something I want you to smoke. And Bucky is just like torn, and he's got these mind games
because he's
going
to be
on.
the next big thing in the NBA.
That's what we find out.
no one can stop Bucky on the court, man.
Yeah,
He goes
nobody.
Hard, he goes hard in the paint and hard on the dance floor.
I think it was his buddy later on who was just like, Bucky, I love Bucky. He starts breaking down.
And so, like, everybody, they know this guy's bad news. I don't remember what the friend's name was, but they're like, stay away from him. And he's just like, he's torn.
yeah.
I think it's like Reggie or something like that.
Okay. And then so he gets up and dances, doesn't he? Finally relents.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah,
up
no,
and
his girl
dances,
did-
and everyone clears the path for
Oh,
him 'cause
dude,
they know
well,
they want to see Bucky's moves.
And
Because Disco Godfather calls out, Bucky, my nephew!
well,
Yeah.
Well, he
Slapping his
probably
boy.
rhymed when he said it 'cause he rhymes with everything. He's like,
Yeah, that's all right.
So he's like, that's my nephew there, yay! And everyone's just like blown away. Richard.
That's his buddy who gets
Richard.
him hooked.
Okay. So he's a real dick, but So So
Put your weight on it.
Everyone's having their great
Now
time.
you have the worst
He's
joke of the
fucking.
episode.
I'm glad you pointed it out because he says "put your weight on it" 20 fucking times in this scene. He's hard. He's pushing
your
this.
weight on
He's
it,
pushing
put
this
your weight on
catchphrase as hard as fuck.
At one point, I swear he was having a heart attack while he was saying it because he's getting into it. He's like, put your weight on it, put your weight,
He
put
does.
your weight on it.
You're probably feeling weight on his chest. He's having a heart attack.
That's what it is.
His neck
Oh my
veins
God.
are popping.
If he once he starts saying get your weight on it, like if he gets cut off anywhere in the middle, I was not talking. I was doing my best pigeon impression there. He's having a stroke. That's the emergency call out. That's his life alert.
Put your weight on it.
Put your weight on it. If he gets
That's it.
put your weight. People are like, oh,
Well,
shit.
we're like, man, he's hitting this catchphrase hard.
Hard.
Like it's the equivalent of a very underrated episode.
Oh, my God.
That's how hard he's hitting it. And Griff learned that he copyrighted that fucking phrase. Put your weight
he
on
went
it.
out and copyrighted it.
So he's like, God damn it, I'm going to make this shit where he's going to be the next May the Force be with you. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry.
Is that copywritten?
I'm sure George
Has
Lucas
to
has
be.
that copyright. And actually, the technical term is copyrighted because it's not. It's spelled R-I-G-H-T. Little fun
Wow. Mike, give me another beer. I'm just going to stare down Murray for the next minute here. Great audio, visual here.
fact. So Bucky's like, the shit's calling him. So Bucky's like, I got to go talk to Richard. I'll be back.
Yeah, after he busts the move and everything.
Yeah. So Richard, he's got the most pimped out fucking like Cadillac out in the parking lot.
Oh my God, it's got like a little disco ball in
It's
there.
got interior
Hell yeah,
like
it
shag
does.
carpeting.
Beautiful. I loved it.
The epitome of the 70s is in that car.
Yeah.
And then doesn't he like hand him like a joint like dipped in angel dust?
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like they were both into angel dust.
Yeah, this is a very more mature Rudy Ray film because the first one he's a fun-loving pimp. This one he's getting a message. There's a lot of this is practically a 90-minute PSA for Attacking the Whack, which is angel dust.
Or as we see halfway through the movie, the councilwoman or whatever says, "Whack the attack,"
Yeah.
because she can't.
And then she laughs like
There's
they're
no-
talking about.
There's a big sign behind her that says "Attack the Whack," and she's like, "We're gonna whack the attack
Dude, I think
on angel dust."
I think she improv that scene, and so she was legitimately delighted with herself when she was like, "Wait, we can turn this around and it's still effective." I think that's what happened there. Did
I
she
don't
have
think
a
it is
stash?
because I'm pretty sure she said "whack the attack on angel dust," meaning, we're going after angel dust. Let's stop it.
Either way, we need to stop angel dust, guys.
Right.
And so immediately one hit of this joint, and Bucky's out of his fucking mind.
out, completely out of his mind.
Totally nuts.
Linda, his lady friend, comes running into the club. Bucky! Bucky! I thought he, died. I thought that was going to be the motivation in the movie, is that Bucky died. But it's not.
No, instead,
Bucky's fine.
Yeah,
He's just-
he's not fine.
He's tripping balls.
Yeah, he starts playing invisible basketball first,
Yeah.
and people are like, "What the fuck, Buck?" But fucking Rudy Ray doesn't. Tucker is his character's name. He doesn't notice it at first. He's fucking.
He's in
Right.
the zone, man.
Yeah.
One person calls him Tucker. He calls himself Tucker once, and it's because he rhymes it with bad motherfucker. And when he said that, I was like, that's why you named yourself Tucker in this
Exactly.
movie.
Yeah. Well.
All of his character names always end with Ucker.
Yes, his name was Tucker Smucker. actually.
Tucker Smucker.
Dolamucker.
Dolamucker.
So he's tripping balls. He's seeing some crazy shit. He's seeing like a zombie woman with a machete.
Oh my god.
He's seeing his fucking uncle.
Yeah.
The first time I saw this movie, remember, I was probably about 13 because I saw Dolomite,
And you've never done
Human
P2P.
Human Tornado, and then I think it was
Well, I'm
Disco
doing
Godfather.
P2P right now, but PCP I ain't never touching.
You
that.
never
Hell
touched
no.
PCP?
But that tripped me out the first time I saw it. I was like, what the hell?
Well, that's what he's
And
trying to do.
honestly, because I was 13-year-old, white kid from the suburbs. I had no fucking idea. So I was just like, is that what angel dust does? I am staying far away
Well,
from that.
it's supposed to make you go fucking nuts.
This movie
which
was
is why I don't
effective
know
on
why
keeping me
anyone
off
uses
drugs.
it because they say like a guy's on PCP and it takes like 5 people to just like get him under control and shit.
My first experience of Angel Dust was from a Whoopi Goldberg movie, I think. And there was just a large man walking down the stairs, and Whoopi or somebody else shoots him like a dozen times and it doesn't register. And that's when my friend's mom puts an arm around me and goes, Griff, it's because he's on angel dust. And that's when I first heard about PCP.
Yes. P2P is perfectly safe.
I think I was 11 when I found out about angel dust. And now I'm on a quest to do angel dust because I want to get shot.
Not only are you
times.
finding it out, our man Tucker, a.k.a. Disco Godfather, is finding out about PCP because he's like, Bucky, what is wrong with you, boy?
You nailed it.
Yes, there's a very almost like Christopher Walken kind of style to his acting, or maybe Christopher Walken copied fucking Rudy Ray Moore.
You know what?
Or it's a Shatner. It's a lot of pauses, dramatic pauses.
Shatner did have that as well.
Because Bucky just fucking takes out and he starts trying to climb the wall outside and like
he cuts his hand trying to hold on to that gate.
Yeah, and like fucking Tucker, he's just like I know I'm jamming this motherfucker up, but I got it. My nephew's more important. So he just leaves. He makes sure that the needle's on there still, so you can still hear the jams. But he goes out, check on his nephew. Ambulance shows up. Say, call an ambulance. And they do. And they come, they pick him up, and then this is where we meet a doctor. I don't remember his fucking name, but he's the expert on PCP.
Expert.
Because this is because he's just like, I think he just waits around clubs to pick up people because he's not affiliated with a hospital. He has his own like clinic for just PCP addicts.
It's not licensed
because it's taking our kids, man.
Yes, and we got to take the streets back. And so he's just like, don't worry. He's like, doctor, what is wrong with him? And he's like, it's PCP, Tucker. What is that? And he's like,
I'm really happy you're getting the cadence just
like,
right.
He's like, it's the scourge of the, it's the scourge. Our children are dying, Tucker, is what he says.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna take your nephew's in good hands. I'm gonna take him to this clinic I have, and we're gonna fix him up.
And he's like, I'll be right behind you. And he's like, don't worry, he's not waking up for another dozen hours.
He's
Gotta go
toast
ahead.
for a bit.
I did some research on our old friend PCP. It got, they used it for medical reasons at first, but then they realized how ridiculous it was. So it's been replaced by ketamine. The effects of it last 4 to 6 hours. So let's just keep that number in our minds when we go to visit, I believe, the next scene here.
Yeah. Well, this is totally off kilter, but I remember, and I got all my knowledge from like 80s cop shows, that I think formaldehyde is like an ingredient in PCP.
Could be.
Because they
probably ended up being one for people to cut it and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go to the clinic, and like it's the next day, so he's covered up. He's not nighttime Disco Godfather. He's Tucker Williams, concerned uncle. So he's kind of
concerned uncle. He's got the nice hat.
He's got this
always has the flower pin on him.
Great, dressed to the nines. He got the suit on, and he's learning about PCP. And so we see there's this ward of all these PCP addicts, and they're pointing out there's one guy that thinks he's a butterfly, or he thinks he's a caterpillar.
He's a caterpillar.
He's like in the fetal position on the floor.
Yeah,
and then
he's been waiting like a dozen years to evolve or something.
And then he's like, "Doctor, what is wrong with that woman?" And he's like, "Disco Godfather, she cooked her baby." And then we get a nice little like flashback of this scene. There's a lot of crazy. I always want to point out that when I debuted the preview on Twitter for this episode, one of our followers was like, I had a teacher who was the cinematographer on this movie, and I wish I had asked them questions because there's some really interesting like camera work going on in this movie, the interesting lighting. So we're like, we get to see like there's like this family around like a table, dining room table, and was it one of those things like you see in like you never see in real life, but you see in movies where there's like a cover on the plate. Was it something like that?
I don't remember
because she just put how they like in like big feasts or something scenes they have like this thing. Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I guess they're called covers.
Yeah,
and then she like pulls it away, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
She cooked her baby because the ham was crying.
Yes,
and she wanted the ham to stop crying. I'm like, what the hell?
This shouldn't be humorous, but it's just like this complete. We're making up like crazy effects of this drug. It is pretty great.
Yeah, no,
and everybody has the same experience. That's the crazy thing.
Once we got like an hour and 30. This is like an hour and 40 movie, and 35 of it is just disco dancing. And
great disco dancing.
A lot of dick.
Very
cleavage.
underrated disco dancing.
Very underrated. Very underrated. But yeah, they just make up like all kinds of drug facts in it. And I fucking love it. I love when people are just like,
Well, we didn't know. This was the 70s. We didn't know. We were learning.
It's a good point.
Learning.
It's a good point.
Did you have anything to say, Mike?
Not on this, no. I
Okay.
said my piece.
So we finally get to Bucky, and he's strapped to a bed. He's freaking the fuck out. He's seeing this zombie woman with a machete. She chops his fucking arm off in the hallucination.
Oh yeah.
And again, I just want to bring up a couple weeks ago we were talking about how great some of the acting was in Foxy Brown.
Yes.
Bucky, whoever the actor's name, I forget what it is, but the guy that plays Bucky, he's doing a great job of making me think he is not having a good time. Like
Yeah.
usually people be like, oh, and like they'll way overdo it. He is writhing. He's actually sweating or they sprayed him down with something. But I was like, damn, he is in a bad way right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bucky did a really good job for a guy who's literal. Like he's strapped into a bed. He was doing a fucking great job.
Yeah, so the doctor gives him more like made up information, I don't know, of PCP to our man Tucker.
Well, the chemical imbalance of his brain has really altered him into a new state, a dream state, if you will. I don't know why he has his voice, but I don't have a lot of voices in my old bullpen here.
Right. And he's like, well, keep me posted, doctor. I'm going to take care of this. And then he leaves, and then we meet this family, their daughter, or granddaughter, I think it was her granddaughter. She's like fucking freaked out. She's like the Exorcist. She's tied to a bed too, freaking out. They're going to pray the PCP away.
Yeah, well, medicine's got no more answers, so...
Well, the doctor has answers. He's like, we got to give her ECT, electric shock treatment. I didn't fuck that up. He literally said ECT and then said electric shock treatment.
Hey, I'm not a
maybe,
doctor,
I guess he
so-
just spells shock differently than me. I don't know.
Maybe it stands for something else, man. I think you're cutting the legs out on this doctor. I think he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, well, he helped Bucky in the long run.
Bucky.
Right?
So yeah, so they're just going to pray it away. They just got it's like a scene from The Exorcist.
I mean, they sprinkled some essential oils on her too.
Yeah, well,
That's
yeah,
what-
that was a weird scene where like the reverend's like greasing up his hands
Yeah.
with some oils.
Well, it's.
It was I guess it was dry outside, so he needed a little moisturizer.
I don't know. I hear those things cure everything, so why not? You got to try everything.
So okay, yeah, so we learn that our man Disco Godfather was formerly a cop. He gave up that
Yeah.
life because the siren song of the disco was calling him. But he's a cop. He knows his way around the law and a gun.
I mean, you could say he's still doing the work of a policeman because he's bringing the community.
He's on
together.
reserve. He
Yeah,
still technically is a policeman.
He's on reserve, but he's bringing the community together. And what's better, police like assistant? You know, what's going to help the police than a community that thrives together? And that's what he's doing.
Right.
He's bringing the whole community together.
So he sees the old buddies. He's talking shop for a little, and then his Lieutenant Frank comes out.
I had a bad feeling about this Frank guy right off the bat.
Well, he's white, and he's in a blaxploitation movie, so you have a good, you always assume he's up to no good.
I mean, I thought he was a crooked cop right off the bat.
But he's not, Griff.
Right.
Initial reactions? Anybody else?
No, I mean I agree with you, but it turns out, Griff, he's one of the good ones for this
One of the
episode.
good ones.
I feel like this is too early to say he's one of the, I think
No.
we should have played it up a little
Well, there was
more.
only one other white guy, and he had a bowl cut and was dancing in every scene.
Well, then the other white guy, but
Which
we'll
we will
to
get
later.
to later.
Yeah, he's not one of the good ones. But
He-
Frank is one of the good ones. He
was.
wants to help the community out, but he's like, look, Disco Godfather, play by the rules. I know you're reserved, which means you can murder people, all the people you want, because you're a reserve cop now. But I'll ask you, play by the rules. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can fucking kill as many people as you want. Play by the rules. I can do that.
So this is where Disco leaves, but the camera doesn't leave. In fact, we need a little more exposition. We need a little more background on Disco Godfather. Mike, do you know the background on him, or do we want to throw it over to Tim?
Throw it over to Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're right. Frank looks directly into the camera.
And it's slowly zooming in on his face.
And-
He's holding the phone.
Yeah, he's holding the phone for some reason, and he says, like in an exasperated voice, like, "There's only three things that get Tucker uptight. One is messing with his family, and we never, for the rest of the movie, learn the other two things."
He's like, you don't want to get on Tucker's bad side. Because he'll put his weight on it.
So while our man Tucker is cleaning up the streets, his girl Friday, I forget her name, she's taking care of the disco. So we see a scene where there's auditions for the disco squad. And a newspaper reporter is covering this because it's hot news. Who's going to be in the disco squad this year? I don't know. That's why she's there.
It's the hottest club in town. Why wouldn't you interview with it? That's the problem. We don't have any local journalism anymore.
Right.
That's why America sucks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that's why.
Yep.
Exactly. And so while they're talking, our Disco Godfather shows up, and he's like, "Oh, you're a reporter? I got a story for you. Have you heard of angel dust?" And she's like, "No, I haven't. Tell me more." And then we get another like exposition about the horrors of angel dust and PCP. Like, you could help us. And she's like, she wants her Pulitzer. So she's like, fuck yeah, I'm on that shit. I'm talking about fucking Disco Squad. I'm all about the fucking PCP.
There's no faster way to a Pulitzer than to work on a piece with Disco Godfather.
Right. Well, it's just funny how she's there to talk about the club, and he's like, I want to talk about angel dust.
Yeah, she's like, can you tell me what songs you're going to play tonight? And he's like, I need to talk to you about something else.
And then he takes a hard stance. Like he draws a deep line in the sand. She's like, can I quote you on that?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Be my
What's the exact
guest.
line?
What is happening? You can put my weight on it.
Yeah.
Come on. There was a perfect chance for put my weight on it.
So he's got unlike now, he has the media on his side because you can't trust the media now, Griff.
No,
back then you could.
Right.
Yeah, local journalism.
And-
Hello.
Yeah. And so he's like, I need to make a phone call. I'll be right back.
I really do think that Rudy Ray had a stroke now. The more I hear you, you're doing a great job with it. It's like, wow, he did have a stroke.
He doesn't slur his words. He's very enunciate. He enunciates really well, but there are a lot of pauses.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just enunciation.
And so he busts in on these guys fucking with his phone. And he's like, what is going on here? And he's like, I know I don't have a broken phone. And they're like, you watch out, you. And then they just attack him, and then fucking...
He does his little, I'm going to
He
get
does
into
the
JoJo.
Wakanda Forever pose, shakes his head.
Shakes his head. Guy pulls out a knife. A large black man pulls out a knife on him. He just sidekicks that right.
Well, does he sidekick it?
Okay.
Or one of the worst stunt doubles I've ever
Okay,
seen?
Murray.
Oh, my God. This is so good.
Straight out of like the original Star Trek like fight scenes. There's a guy. I'm not even sure he's black. He might have been a white guy, but he's dressed like Rudy Ray, and he's got like Rudy Ray's wearing a big cap, so he makes sure to pull the cap like over. It practically covers his face.
The whole face is covered. His head is tilted down. And he's just going to work on these two guys, but it's so clearly not Rudy Ray Moore.
It's very well edited though, because it does cut back to Rudy Ray, then punching somebody, and then it cuts back to a wide shot, and he's like kicking someone in the face.
It's really good cuts. I couldn't tell the difference. I'm sorry you guys try to pause every scene to call it out, but I didn't notice it.
So he kicks their ass because he's fucking Dolomite, dude. He's the Disco Godfather.
He like throws the one man aside. He destroys that white dude. Like, that white dude was all bloodied up. And they turn tail. They run out the door. And then his Disco Godfather's, like, assistant comes in.
Yeah.
Or his partner comes in. And she's like, is the phone fixed? It's pretty funny, right?
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was good.
So we cut to the next scene. This is where we meet our villains.
Oh, boy.
Our man Stinger. And he's got a big plan, Griff.
So we're introduced finally to our villain.
Right. And so he's his elaborate scheme. His plan, Griff, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to find every hot prospect for the NBA in town. I'm going to addict them with PCP so they flop in the big leagues. And I'm going to, I guess, clean them up and then use them in my own basketball league.
Smart.
Smartest plan in the book.
Smart.
That's how the ABA started. That was the original competition for the NBA.
Yeah.
It didn't last that long. So that's the big master plan. There's kind of some flaws in the logic because we've seen at the PCP clinic you can be You take one hit off a fucking joint lace PCP, and for a year you think you're a caterpillar.
I mean, it's no longer 4 to 6 hours; it's years.
Right. So I see flaws in this plan, but I'm going to go with it. It's a movie.
Yeah.
So his right hand man is like, we got to get rid of this motherfucker. You heard of this Disco Godfather? He's going to shut us down, and he's just like, all right, do it. Fuck this guy. I got the jerseys playing out. I got the colors. I got our mascot.
I got a TV contract.
Our mascot's gonna be a scorpion because my name's Stinger. He's got it all planned.
It
out.
was that, wasn't it? Stinger.
No, they were the Stingrays.
The Stingrays.
Okay.
Come on, we
And
got
then-
Mike here. We
Then
got
I guess Tampa Bay ripped them off. Did they have a baseball team?
maybe.
You're the baseball
team.
guy. I don't fucking know.
I am. They used to be the Devil Rays.
The Manta Rays, wasn't it? The Devil
No,
Rays?
they were the Devil Rays.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think they're just the Rays now, right?
White
Yeah, they
Devil
dropped
Rays.
Devil out of their name because they sucked for the whole existence of being the Devil Rays. So they thought, let's drop Rays. 2 years later, they were relevant.
So it works.
Well, there you
So
go.
it works. Yeah, you can't have Devil in your name. Which is
Unless
why we're
you're
switch-
from New Jersey.
Good. Wow, fuck.
And Blue Devils from Duke, who win all the time.
Ah, fuck.
So now we haven't had any disco in a while. This is the Disco Godfather, for fuck's sake. Where's our disco? So we cut back. We get this roller skating scene with this guy. Was he wearing shorts, or was he just wearing some fucking briefs, dude? Because his shorts were so
dude,
fucking short, his balls
so
were
short.
hanging out. All
No,
right?
I don't even think those were women's shorts. They were
Yeah,
supposed to be
those were like women's athletic shorts, but they were super short, super tight, left nothing to the imagination.
Yeah, that was exactly what it was supposed to be. It was designed for a woman's curves, but this man and his junk
he's roller
plopped
skating,
in there.
so.
Yeah, there was balls coming out of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
This was
gotta
great though,
put his weight on
because I used to manage a roller rink, and every year the Detroit Rhythmic Rollers, shout out, would rent out the rink, and it would be like 300-400 people. They'd cook up a bunch of soul food and just skate for 5 hours, and they would do some crazy shit. I'm like, someone's gonna get hurt.
Did
and
they
never
do
did.
it in short shorts?
Some of them did, yes.
Fuck yeah.
Oh man,
Do you have any footage of that?
No, I do
I'm
not.
sorry, guys.
before camera phones.
So
I'm glad. That's one of the better Bonaventure stories I never heard.
Oh yeah, no, they were great. They were awesome, man. They were so much fun.
That sounds.
Except one time I was floor guarding. Sorry to segue. I'm skating around, and all of a sudden I'm off the ground, and I look around, and this massive dude has just picked me up by the hips, and he's skating with me in his hands, and then he drops me off off the floor as we get to the exit, and he was like, "Going too slow," and I was like,
Wow.
"Oh shit!"
He just got manhandled.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a sudden jolt of me getting picked up. He had the hands of an angel. He just like scooped me up, and all of a sudden I was free. I was flying, but I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
It's like Dirty Dancing. You're like flying.
Are
Right?
you sure you didn't whisper in your ear? Put your weight on it. Maybe that's what it means.
Maybe.
Be more.
So yeah,
efficient.
and the people having so much fun. Rudy Ray's like, I got to get in on this shit. So this is his next big outfit change. He comes in. All right, he's wearing like, was it a jumpsuit or was it just pants and like a? I don't know if he's wearing a shirt in this.
Dude,
'cause
no, he wasn't. I thought it was another one of those deep scoops.
probably.
Outfits.
So it's like white pants, but at the knee to the floor, it's purple. So
yeah, I
he's
don't remember this one.
and he's
Yeah, it
wearing
was like the mermaid cut.
He's
pants
wearing
or
a
whatever.
long robe. I think that it had no sleeves on it too. I'm not sure about that. But he had robe, and he's like flipping the robe like ends around.
Yeah,
he's having a
that's
good old
right.
time.
It was very Macho Man.
Yep.
And that's just a filler scene, guys. There's nothing of importance.
Yeah.
in that scene.
A lot of filler scenes in this movie. Like I
But
said.
they're all so good.
Oh my god.
They're all so good.
There's a lot of good plot in between it, but then there's a lot of just like ridiculous. Wow.
So, a Disco Godfather. He's got the community together to attack the whack, as he said.
Attack the whack.
So we cut to a rally that we were talking about. We alluded to earlier, where we have, I don't know what she was. I think she's some kind of local government official, and she's giving a speech because this PCP is just ruining the community, Griff. It's everywhere. And so she's like, we need to attack.
Been drinking
this-
mimosas again?
Yes, I have. We needed to attack the whack. Or as what did she say, Mike?
She said we need to whack the attack on PCP.
And then she laughed.
She did giggle. It was pretty great.
And we got our reporter. She's just writing in a notepad right beside her. And then is that it? I don't think Rudy says anything, does he? The doctor shows up and says some shit.
No, you're talking about at the little
the rally.
The rally.
Yeah.
Rudy Ray didn't even show up to that.
Okay, but the doctor did show up.
The
and
doctor
he says,
was there
I
'cause
think
he had a
everyone needs
speech.
ECT.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And
Guys, I found the cure. It's ETC.
so then we cut to back to the clinic where this is where we see the scene where they're praying the PCP away and they're lathering up with essential oils.
Got the essential oils.
And that's all you need to know because we cut back to Stinger. There's a lot of cuts in this movie, and for some reason he's just like his right hand man's right next to him. He's like, "Call the hit off," and the guy's like, "What? I just sent the hitman out. I don't give a fuck, motherfucker. Call it off."
I don't think we can do that. Well, you need to stop him.
No, he says you need to send a hitman for our hitman.
Yeah, exactly.
and he's like,
we need
okay,
we need Disco Godfather alive.
and we don't know why, but they do.
They don't really give us a reason. We don't need a reason.
So we now another.
Maybe they want to open a successful club.
We get to they need that. He's like, you ever heard that motherfucker DJ? He's the best DJ in town.
I mean, he's trying to start a basketball team.
You
I
need
don't
DJ.
see why it wouldn't hurt him to have a person of Disco Godfather's just like creativity.
Right.
I'd
I would
want
love
that.
to. I'd let him design my fucking uniforms.
Oh my god!
Hell yeah.
Trying to dunk with like a cape.
Well,
That's how you
shit.
get extra air,
That's how
man.
you
They
fly.
would all have like fucking Elton John
Platform shoes.
platform shoes.
So we've had like literally 10 minutes since we've had a disco scene. So we got to go back to the disco.
What?
And this is your favorite scene because this is your favorite outfit.
Favorite.
Well, break it down for me.
Gold speckled jacket. I already mentioned this. No shirt, no pants.
You
required.
can't hold the go sound for that long without me thinking that someone just scored and I'm going
I
to run
know.
around in the airplane position.
Well, the audience just scored because they got to see Rudy Ray chest just blaring out there with that fucking gold sparkly jacket, just loving life, scratching records, getting the audience into it.
Yeah, and this you guys are gonna explain it. 'Cause I actually got confused by this scene. I don't know what is actually happening in this
And
scene.
guys, because we all know you're going to go watch the movie because we have really pleaded with you to do so. You really got to put your weight on it and watch this fucking movie.
And I also want to send out a question to the person I was telling you about on Twitter, whose teacher was cinematographer. Can
This
you
is what I was
reach
gonna
out to
do.
your teacher to explain this scene to me?
What the fuck happened with this scene? Because they chop it.
We all thought our laser discs were because me and Mike have a laser disc box set of Rudy Ray Moore movies. We all thought our laser discs were skipping because there's this weird like choppiness, like you said.
Yeah, they were trying to do in like the stop motion style of like I think it was supposed to be like Rudy processing everything slowly because he knows.
He's like doing a
Was
Matrix.
it like, were they trying to do a strobe light effect, but they just didn't have a
Maybe.
strobe
Could
light?
be.
Maybe because it's like he knows a hit is on him. He knows this. And so a guy comes out with a gun from the dance floor, aims it up at him, but then these two cops come in. He notices the cops and goes, "Badge 143, badge 143, badge 143." And so the whole scene of like guns going off, people being tackled and punched, he's just calm. He's just standing there like waiting to start the song back up.
Right.
fucking
So the
nuts.
cops take the hitman out. So we
Yeah.
can assume these are crooked cops that are working for Stinger, and they're the ones that he said, get the hitman for the hitman.
Yeah.
And like you said, fucking Rudy Ray's tapping into the 9 powers of the ninja, so he immediately zooms in and patch 143.
143.
And so
Frank arrives.
Frank shows up, and he's just like,
This was no hit. This was an intercept team.
yeah, exactly. He knows that the hit on the hit.
That's what I meant.
Yes, you're right. So it was an intercept team.
And so Frank is pleading with Disco Godfather. He's like, look at this place. It's a fucking kingdom. Kids dancing. No one's doing drugs. PCP, where is me? I'm trying to make that right. That was the first
It's
thing
a
that came to mind.
PCP free zone.
Yeah, sure. And he's like, "You've got it made here. Stay out of this."
And he's like, I can't. This is my community.
They're coming for our kids.
So we got to have another act break.
Our children are dying, Frank.
We got to check in on Bucky, man. How's Bucky doing? He's probably tripping in bed still.
He's finally coming down. It's
Coming
been
out?
about 3 weeks.
He's really regretting this, I bet.
And yeah, the doctor is just like, "Hey, son, you finally coming out of this." And he's just like, "Oh, I didn't want to do it, but like Richard, he kept pushing it on me. He's like, do this, and he gave in to peer pressure.
He just wanted Richard to shut up about it, man.
I want to point out, this was a couple years before Nancy Reagan's Just Say No program. So if he had just heard that, we could have avoided the whole situation. But he gave in to peer pressure, and now he's a PCP addict.
So let's see. We got he finally admits his guilt. He stops blaming Richard. Just like, you know what, this is partly my fault.
And the doctor's like, "No, you know whose fault it is? God." And he just gives this impassioned speech.
Man.
Damn you, God!
Why did you make PCP so fucking tasty?
All right, I'm like lost right now.
So now we got to join Rudy Ray, and he's hitting the streets.
Oh, yes.
Because of course he is. The cop tells him stay away, and he's like, "I'm getting further." So he shows up this busted down neighborhood, goes into this just raggedy house, kids in just like tethered clothes. They're not playing
Tethered clothes.
Tethered?
Tattered clothes.
Tattered.
Yeah,
God.
tethered is like a leash.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Look,
they were an S&M kids.
I try with words.
This is so long ago. Kids are actually fucking playing jacks.
Dude,
That's how low rent this place is.
I think they.
Shit's so funny. Yeah, the kids are playing jacks. I don't mean to cut you off, but
Go for
Take it away.
But he's like,
This is what you're
he's
here
like,
for.
I bet you can't pick them all up in one turn. I'll give you $5 if you can do it.
No, he said, "I'll give you a quarter."
I'll
They're
give you a
They're
quarter.
like, shit, I ain't a fucking quarter.
the little
Yeah,
girl,
the
yeah.
little girl just gives him hell because she's like, a quarter? Come on, man. It's so good.
Bet you
so
think
funny.
I'm showing off my talent for a quarter?
And then they tell you what, I'll give you $5. And then they fucking just they con them, man. They scam them. They're like, "Hey, look that way. Grab the $5 and then run away." And he's like, "Kids are so great."
Kids.
I love them.
So this is where we join up with the Teach.
Yes, Bob was his name.
Bob. Teach Bob.
He's like, I love this scene because he's probably 2 years older than Rudy Ray, but like Rudy Ray's like, "I grew up. This man taught me so much as a kid."
He did,
and
yeah.
he's like, "Where is your dog? Where is that dog?"
This man has a dog that's 1 year older than him.
And he's like, "I remember that dog growing up. The dog would be fucking dead a long time ago. I don't know what the fuck." And he's like,
It's the old bitch under the desk.
Didn't he say he's like, "She ran out on me"? Like he was. I think he was like, you know, when your grandparents, your dog dies, and we took him to a farm. I think he was like letting him down easy because he knew he had an intense relationship.
I just
with
want
his dog.
you guys, 'cause apparently even with your Laserdisc viewing, you didn't notice the chalkboard because you would have brought it up. It
I
just
did.
said in big chalk, "Stay off drugs" with an underline.
That's all I need.
He's a teacher just teaching kids, stay
Right.
off drugs.
He teaches kids about their African roots, and he teaches them about staying off drugs. He's like a village elder. You know?
So Rudy Ray is trying to get details on, I guess, just like the community and who he can look to for this PCP surge in his community.
Right. So he's like, I think he just finds this place. I don't think Bob tells him, but I don't know
what information Bob gives him.
He doesn't give him any. He says the dog's dead, or the dog ran out on me.
That's all I remember happening in this, but he somehow knows after this scene where to go.
Yes, and it's a pimp party. So we see they got a Saturday Night Fever album laid out with some coke on it, and they're chopping it up, having a good time. There's some pimps, there's hoes.
I got a side note about that Saturday Night Fever album, but continue.
Okay, so this, and like Rudy Ray knows he needs some muscle.
Pop-up video.
So I don't remember the guy's name, but Rudy brings some muscle with him. So this guy just busts in and starts kicking everyone's ass.
Dude,
Like,
just starts laying waste to people.
They knock on the door, open it, And this guy just starts. I was so excited.
And then a guy comes out without his shirt.
He just comes barreling down the stairs, no shirt on.
Well, yes, Sweet Meat goes up the stairs like, Roof, get down here. And he's got the big Fu Manchu
And he
mustache.
starts talking like a kung fu movie. He's like,
Yes.
I will beat you. How dare you come in here?
Even though he's not, I don't think he was dubbed. I think he
No,
just
yes,
started
he
talking
was
like that.
talking like
He
that,
was just
right?
talking like
yeah,
that.
that was his thing.
I was so excited for this fight.
And it wasn't that exciting. They go back and forth, but then cooler heads prevail.
Yeah.
And then
the fight, the quote unquote fight, ends with just like two unrealistic karate poses. It's one of the highlights of the movie.
It really is.
It lasts like 3 seconds, but it's so good.
There's so many things. It's like introducing gun in the first act. You expect someone to get shot later.
Yep.
This movie introduces kung fu at this point, and there's no kung fu.
well, we also learn that they may be pimps, but they care about their community.
They
too.
do.
And they're like, shit, PCP. We just do coke. We don't fucking fuck with that
And
PCP. That ruins communities.
There's like 25 people attending this party. It's like guys and gals, and it's like their wives and stuff. It's not like, supposed to be hoes or something.
I think there were some hoes there.
There might have been.
There were definitely some hoes there.
Okay.
Sweet Meat doesn't do a party without hoes.
Right. Come
But
on, man.
at the same time, they're saying, like, we don't fuck around with that. Like, and then a couple people chime in. They're like, my buddy died last week from doing PCP. I don't fuck around
This
with
guy's
that.
like, shit, my hoes are lazy as shit when they're on P2P.
P2P.
And so he's like, fuck, I ain't fucking with that shit. I give him coke.
Yeah.
And because we learn, much like, in prison, there's this hierarchy where it's like, yeah, I might have like raped and murdered an 80-year-old lady, but I don't fuck with kids. Like, so they have like their like code of honor, and they're like, we don't fuck with PCP.
Yeah.
We'll do everything else that ruins the community, but that is the line
Hey,
in the sand.
We don't
for
even
us.
know they were selling it.
Well, they were doing it. You're right. So then he's like, I trust you. Thank you. I'm going to go hit the streets again. But first, like, he picks up there's like this pile of cocaine.
They were hiding the cocaine.
yeah,
in
It was
the
a
hat.
nice, healthy pile of cocaine on
Yeah.
this album cover.
They covered it up with a hat. He pulls, because he knows he's fucking got the 9 powers.
Nine
He's
powers.
like, no, sees it, picks it up, and just blows the shit out onto the like fucking shag carpeting. And these people,
These were definitely the hoes.
This is the best part. This is the side note I wanted to say.
Wait, what?
He blows it onto the carpeting, and then a bunch of people go to snort it up. That coke fucking multiplied when he blew on it, because it was a healthy amount on the album cover. It was a giant pile on the ground.
It's magical.
Just go ahead, if you want to reenact the scene, take a 1-pound bag of flour and take a teaspoon out and put it on an album cover and blow it. And then just empty the flour bag onto the floor. That was the conversion rate. There was a teaspoon on the album cover and a pound on the floor.
It was insane how much.
It's
the
magic.
They were like coke fiends. They were snorting the shit off.
Sweet Meat is the magic man of Coke.
Right.
He's the Jesus. Is what
And
I
so
meant
he's
to say.
kind.
He
You would
just
think
makes
he'd be
Coke
pissed
good.
off. He's like, I don't want people horning in on my business. If they do PCP, they're never going to come back to coke. So he's got an ulterior motive too. But he does care about his community. And so we get a nice, long, drawn-out, taking it to the streets montage.
I was just going to say, is this the fucking montage? Are we finally getting this montage?
Yes.
It was great.
So Rudy Ray's walking the streets. He's taking care of it. He's beating up fucking drug dealers. He's talking to a fucking wino.
There was a song, too. Like, the main theme of the song was, like, getting it off the street or something like that. Beating the meat, whacking the crack or something. But it was
Oh boy!
just... What did I do? But it was just playing during this whole thing, and they're shaking down people. They're getting information. Hydra Phil shows up in his hot dog cart in the alley, and they're like, he's willing to give them the information because, of course, he is. Hydra Phil's community man himself.
Right. And so I don't think he gets any information, but he does a good job looking for it.
And he finds a dog.
Yes, he finds a dog, and he goes, this would be perfect for Bob. So they stop. They drop off the dog to Bob, which is a sweet move. It's like
Very nice film.
And Bob's crying. He's like, "Oh man, thank you. I love dogs."
What? We don't see Bob.
No.
I wanted to see Bob. I'm upset because I really wanted to see Bob.
So what we don't see, what we see is Stinger again. What's up with Stinger? What's going on? His right-hand man is like, Stinger, we got to get this motherfucker out. He's taking it to the streets. He's beating our drug dealers up.
He's putting his weight on it.
He's finally putting the
he's
weight
putting
on
his
it.
weight on the back of their necks. And Stinger's like, not yet. Not yet. So now we cut back to our man Tucker. They bust in on an illegal card game. And these people are used to getting busted because they don't even stop playing when
Yeah.
And this is the cops. And I want to point out, Rudy Ray had the sweetest fucking black leather trench. I want to get one of those. He came in, he's got it all like closed up,
Yup.
and he's just walking in all pimp like. He's got the fucking Rasta fucking cap on.
Because he's the disco Godfather, man. He doesn't
Right.
have to do the heavy lifting.
So good.
And Frank's there. They're having a good old time. And they're like tearing the place apart. People are just like, this is a Tuesday for us. So they continue playing. And then I don't know if it was Rudy Ray, but somebody just grabs the cards out of their hand, throws it down. They're like,
It wasn't Rudy Ray.
Yeah, no, Rudy Ray didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was just in
He
the
just
background.
stood there majestic.
Yep.
And so then when they walk out, like once again, they get nothing. They're like, how can we get this guy? And then him and Frank have a heart to heart. Like, how can we stop this, Frank? And Frank's like, I don't fucking know, man. I mean, we just got to keep doing police work, good old-fashioned police work. And he's just like, I'll go home to sleep.
But of course, he's got a lady with him.
Of course he does. He never sleeps alone.
He's going to have a little bit of a hard time sleeping. Just a little bit. But, you know.
And this scene, like, he's acting the shit out of this scene. He's got insomnia times 12. He's just like, God damn it! They're ruining the streets! He's just, like, screaming at the top of his lungs. And his girl wakes up. And she's like, look, I know what you need. I'm going to fuck you. And he's like, that sounds good. And so they get down to some... This actually was a PG movie. I thought I was surprised, too. So they do some
This is PG?
Yes. Yeah. So they do some PG fucking. And, you know, like, there's knocking on the door. Knocking on the door. And she's like, woman, I need to answer the door. And she's just like, no, fuck that. We got to fuck. I'm hot. And he's like, I'll put my weight on it later. And he gets up, opens the door. Holy shit, it's that fucking dog he gave to Bob nailed to the fucking door.
This is a PG movie. I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
well,
I don't think PG-13 was in effect yet.
No, it was not.
I thought it was rated
PG
R.
No, PG-13 was 84 when that came out.
Holy fuck.
And so, yeah, well, that's the thing. You can get away with shit in a PG movie
There's
back
so
then.
much blood.
Dude, Jaws was PG.
Yeah.
I don't remember violence in Jaws.
Well, there's a fucking shark biting people's legs
Yeah.
off and shit.
Severed limbs and just pools of blood.
Not the Jaws I remember. Jaws was the good guy. He becomes a lawyer in the Virgin. I remember.
Anyway.
I was doing
So-
PCP when I watched Jaws.
So, yeah, it is a PG movie. Because I think this is an important message. I really believe Rudy Ray was like, he really was worried about the real life like drug
I
problem.
guarantee he was worried about.
And wanted to make this movie to give back to the community.
Yeah,
I guarantee
there's
it.
some goofy shit in this movie, but for the most part, this is like the serious Rudy Ray Moore movie.
Right.
Yeah.
This is his like performance for the Oscar. Like I'm gonna like give this into the Oscars for your consideration.
We were talking about all the dancing scenes and how there's just like multicultural race of people like dancing in there, and
Right.
it's just like, guys, we can all come together. We can be a community.
Right. If sick
For
beats are
$3
involved,
and my sweet beats, we can all be friends.
And it was working until that fucking Stinger came around.
Just fucking
Stinger.
Stinger and Richard and
So not only does the dog get killed, but our man Bob gets killed off camera because it's a PG movie. Even though we can see a dog puppet nailed to a fucking wall or door. That's fine. So they round up the usual suspects. So we get this I like this scene where we meet this guy who you can tell they got history. Tucker and this guy. And he's like the Joker to Tucker's Batman. And he's like, you again. And the guy's like, yeah, you know it. And I'm going to get the fuck out because you can't keep me locked up. And he's like, touche. And they just take the guy away. Like this plays nothing into the movie. We just get a little character development.
yeah, I didn't know
maybe
what
they
that
were
was
setting
for.
up for a sequel
Maybe.
or a
And
prequel.
we also
Ooh, P2P.
Frank comes in with Richard, the drug dealer who got our boy Bucky hooked on PCP, and he's fucked up out of his mind on drugs.
Yeah, he was in the house too.
And he's just like, and then the guilt is just getting too much. It's probably why he was getting high because he has so much guilt for fucking up
Yeah.
Bucky's basketball career.
Once, because he's in his own world and they keep slapping him, and he starts coming to, and it's the name Bucky that brings him back, and so they start saying, "Where's Bucky? What's the?" Well, they know where Bucky is. Why'd you get Bucky hook on it? And he's just like, Bucky. I love Bucky. And then we see him hallucinate. We've been seeing the hallucination throughout the movie. Everybody who hallucinates goes to the same plane of existence. I call it the hallucination plane. This is like some real David Lynch shit here.
Everyone sees that angel of death, man.
I'm glad you said that, 'cause I was thinking the exact same thing. It is very Lynchian.
It is. Seriously, when Bucky does his like crazy, hallucination, he's seeing like people also on the same plane involved with it. There's always the angel of death. There's like he sees the weird woman who cooked her baby. Like he's seeing all of it.
And they keep playing that spaced out song every time someone has a hallucination.
Oh yeah, the closed caption on the movie said psychedelic funk.
Well, that's accurate.
Yeah, it was.
And so he finally breaks down. He spills the beans. He tells the whole plot that Stinger has for his alternative NBA.
I love Bucky. I didn't mean to hurt him.
And so they got him.
He's the best.
We got it. So while that's going on, we finally cut back to Stinger's finally like, kill that motherfucker. I've tried everything. He's got sick beats, but he's fucking up my shit.
I can't think about the business anymore because there will be no business if Rudy Ray's on my business. I really wanted to get a rhyme with business that wasn't business, but I couldn't do it.
That's a tough one.
That's why Rudy Ray is the master rapper. It's not easy. He makes it look effortless.
I know, and I thought that's exactly what I was thinking. I was way overconfident.
I made it look effortless on my Rudy Ray S'mores bit, but you're just human. So we cut back to Frank and Rudy Ray. And Rudy Ray's like, badge number 143. There's got to be something to that. And they come up with this brilliant plan. Because they think, there must be a leak. There has to be. How do they know what we're doing?
Yeah.
And so
they're still hanging out in the drug house they just busted.
So they're like, I know. I actually don't understand how they figured it out. But he's going to call.
Come on. It's Frank with him.
Okay.
And Rudy Ray.
Does Frank go,
143, that's Kilroy. And so they're like, well, I know how to prove this exactly. And they like call him from
the drug house.
From the drug house.
Even though there's no caller ID at this time.
They don't call him from the drug house. Kilroy calls him, or the lieutenant calls him from a different line. And
No. They call him from the drug house because then he calls them back at the drug house. No, sir. You got to understand, though, there's no like caller ID here. They could have done that.
They could have.
Yeah.
They could have. But Lieutenant calls him and it's just like, hey, you know what? It is probably from the same firm. Yeah. But they call him and the Lieutenant calls him and it's just like, hey, we're going to go bust up this house at this time. I need you in an hour. And so he's like, oh, shit. Okay. He's like, I'll give you the day off tomorrow. I just need you there tonight. So he's freaking out. And he's like, I got to call those guys and let them know it's on the way.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, you're right.
And then he calls the drug house and they pick up.
Kilroy's on the phone.
And they just pretend. Do they pretend to be the drug dealers or do they rat them out?
They just hang up right there.
Okay.
Because they want him there in person.
So he shows up. They bust him. You're going away forever, Kilroy. And then they let him go.
Yeah, just let him go.
I don't know what's up with that.
Catch and release, man. That's
Why not scare him?
Because they probably know he's so guilt-ridden that he's going to kill himself. And that's exactly what he does. Because his white bitch he is at home, she wakes up, hears some noise. And she walks in the bathroom. I guess he slit his wrists. There's blood everywhere. He's naked in a bathtub.
Wow. Is that what happened? Because I thought they killed him and put him in the bathtub.
No, I think because he was still alive at that time. So I think he committed suicide.
I think he killed himself, too.
And now I'm reminded, this is a PG movie.
Yep.
Yeah. You can get away with a lot of shit back then.
Yeah.
I thought this was rated R.
No, again, the actual Jaws, not the one you saw, was PG, man.
This is a movie your mom will let you watch because there were no boobs in this movie.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know how she would have felt about the man disco skating earlier with his balls out, but I don't know.
I think she'd be okay with it. So Stinger's got the hits on. He's like, fuck. He's like, he calls up the PCP factory, destroy everything, and he's like, kill that motherfucker. And so they're ready. Everything's ready, set to go. We know where everything is because our boy Richard told us. So they're ready to go, but fucking Frank, always by the book Frank. So he's just like, we can't do anything until we get a warrant. And this is where he's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. this is where he's like, well, remember, I'm a reserve guy, which means I can do whatever I want. And they said,
Whatever I
Right.
want.
The rule book has been thrown out the window.
And so he's like, I can't wait around. I have to do something. So he leaves just as he's walking out of the club.
He gets like his guys.
Yes, his boys.
And so he's like gonna get all ready with his boys. They're gonna get in the car. They're gonna head over because they know where the clubhouse is now. They know, or warehouse, the drug warehouse. But that's not exactly what's in Rudy Ray's forecast. Let's go with forecast.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
The
a
Rudy Ray
racist
cast.
cowboy shows up.
Very
Holy shit.
racist.
He is so racist and such a cowboy.
Just drive us all the way through the scene, Mike.
So
You got this one.
He hops out of the car and immediately ushers Tucker's boys back into the club.
Yes.
And has Rudy Ray at gunpoint,
Yeah.
put a bar through the door handle so they can't get out the front way.
Bar just happens to be there.
Or Bar just happens to be there. So they start running to the back of the club so they can get out. And meanwhile, he tells Tucker, get in the front seat and drive. I was going to blow your head off. It calls him boy 20 times.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's really letting
Yeah.
him know.
Hey,
Yeah,
boy,
he's
why
like,
don't you go ahead and let my
just,
mom borrow?
just in case you forgot I was racist, I'm going to call you boy again. And so they're driving. Rudy Ray's partners jump into a car and
Yeah.
start following him.
And he's like, you need to call those guys off.
Wave them off. I'm going
You
to
need
blow
to call
your brains
your
out, boy.
boys off, boy. And he gets Rudy Ray Moore cool as a cucumber. So he just puts his hand out of the car and waves it off. Because he
knows.
Yeah, he knows.
Rudy Ray in action wear at this point, by the way. He's got the Oakland A's style jumper on with the Oakland A's matching.
I was going to say Packers, but you're right. Yeah, it's the same.
Ew.
Tucker wasn't going to fret because a racist cowboy hasn't been able to get him yet.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Oh.
Good to know two of us can rhyme.
Fuck
So,
both of you.
so
hard.
This is why he's our number one guest. Because he brings the pain.
I checked a minute ago. You're not quite there yet, but you will be.
So you'll be after this fucking episode. Everyone's gonna be talking about this.
No,
fucking
this one's
episode.
not being the most underrated episode.
No. Don't put that energy out there. So yeah,
the weight on it.
While that's going on,
I do
we
need to
cut
put my
back
weight
to
on it.
Frank, wherever the fuck he is, and he picks up a phone, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm gonna put a little rush on that warrant we need.
I put a rush on the warrant.
Because he's white guy, white privilege. He's just like, I'm a white guy, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
And they're like, okay, whatever. So then we cut back. Fucking racist cowboy. He can just collect the bounty on our boy Tucker. He's like, no, I'm gonna toy with you.
Well, he's full on racist.
Yeah, he's a
So,
sicko. He's a prick.
Full blown.
He really wants to stick it to Rudy.
And so he's gonna I'm gonna whip you with a bullwhip. It's like, holy shit, man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But fuck, cat-like reflexes of Rudy Ray. He catches the bullwhip midair, and then just proceeds to beat the shit out of this cowboy.
Dude,
No,
This-
I don't even think he throws a punch. Doesn't he just
No, he
take
doesn't.
the whip, he uses the leverage to throw the guy into the wall, and his head just explodes.
It does.
You're right.
Just like a
you're right.
spray of blood.
Yeah, well,
all
that's
over
what
the
he
wall.
deserved. Fuck that guy.
It was amazing.
Yeah, no, that guy totally deserved it. But who knew the Disco Godfather had that much weight to put on that attack?
There's something about the harsh racism this guy tried to lasso on him that he was just like,
Right.
fuck that. And he caught the fucking whip and just exploded his head.
Yeah.
It was vicious. This is also a PG movie, apparently.
And then he makes a beeline for the PCP factory. While that's going on, we cut back to Bucky because they're like, dude, we got to wait on this warrant. Bucky's like, fuck the warrant.
He's looking very Kane at this point. That silver jacket just open. With
We're talking about Kane's Kazugi, by the
Kane
way.
Kazuga.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Thank you. But yeah, he's just got a silver jacket. No shirt.
Of course not.
Jacket open.
Unzipped down to the navel.
He's a
Yep.
Williams. They don't wear shirts.
I fucking love it.
When you
I
got it,
love
flaunt it, man.
Dude, seriously, he's a superior athlete. Definitely.
So he
flaunt it.
rounds up Tucker's
Well,
crew, and they go. He's like, "Fuck, I'm a drug addict. I know where the factory is." So they make a beeline for it. So this is where we were talking earlier in the episode where Rudy shows up. There's like on the outside, they got the guards guarding this like it looked like a construction zone. I don't know what the fuck was going on.
There was a mound of dirt. There's a brick wall, and then 5 feet past the brick wall is this PCP factory.
Right.
I mean, it was painted on it PCP factory, so it was a little obvious.
Right.
But yeah, so all these dudes start coming on like, "Hey, you all right, boss? Here he is. Disco Godfather himself. Let's get him." So they all start coming.
Every accent is just Chicago.
Fuck!
Hey there, let's take this guy out.
Yeah, why don't we go beat up this guy, then go get a sausage there, bud.
So and then
Couple of hot dogs will give us the energy to fight this guy.
And Disco Godfather gives them the sausage because he starts whipping the shit out of them. But there's even fucking Disco Godfather can't take on 20 guys. So like you said earlier, a guy just happens to be jogging by. And he's
Hey,
like,
man, what's going on here?
"This is a PCP factory."
Oh, I got you.
And he just whips his fucking tracksuit shirt off, starts kicking ass.
And he also happens to know martial arts. It's amazing.
Everybody knew martial
There's
arts.
that, and there's the fact
Everybody was kung fu
that
fighting.
he's wearing a track jacket with no shirt on. So
Of course
just
not.
zip, thump, bare chest.
And then we get some like
PG.
we get some really bizarre choreographed fights. Missing by a mile, kicks missing by a mile.
Very loud. Ka-chunks.
Guy fucking Shaq from Kazam shows up, like goes, and he's like, "Ho ho ho!" And he's like on the top of this dirt hill you talked about earlier, and fucking Rudy Ray starts fighting him. He's like, "I remember you. I kicked your ass earlier in this movie from the
Yeah.
telephone thing."
Yeah.
So like Rudy Ray just takes care of him pretty easily, doesn't
I'm
he?
going to ring your bell
Yeah.
until you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Stop.
Nobody paid attention.
Stop while you're ahead. Chris. Stop.
I know we paid attention. We just weren't going to linger on it.
We ignored it.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to. Great rhyme, bud.
Yeah, thanks for fucking shitting on it for 5 minutes. Give me the cold treatment.
So like the passerby has everything under control. So Rudy Ray he's going to go into the factory, and this is where he bumps into our man Doomsday, who's like a huge black guy.
Oh,
He
boy.
throws a wrench at this guy's head, and he pulls out the human tornado.
And he's like, "Holy shit! What do I got to do to this motherfucker?" And this guy,
This is when it goes to Looney Tunes. And I got to mind you, he hasn't hit that PCP yet.
no, but so they're back and forth, but he's getting the worst of it. And then, how does he turn it around?
He doesn't.
Well, I know he gouges the guy's eyes out. I remember
Yeah,
that.
later.
Is that
Later,
later?
that's later.
Okay.
He gets captured.
Oh, you're right. He gets captured. Right.
It's looking bleak. And you know what? Bucky's not even close yet.
Yeah, they're
So
still
right.
the
So they
cavalry's
tie
not
him down
arrived.
to a chair and they put a gas mask on him that's pumping in PCP.
PCP.
And he is tripping like a motherfucker.
And that's when Doomsday shows up, and he takes out his legs and puts him in a chokehold.
Puts him
with
in a
his
head
legs.
scissors with his legs.
Because his hands are tied, but his
And
legs
he's
are
like,
free.
"Take off the mask, man!
Take it off! And
I
like-
will break your neck."
And he's like, okay, I do it. And then he's in such a PCP rage.
Oh
He
my
breaks,
God.
snaps the fucking ropes holding his arms, and then he brutally murders Doomsday, gouges his eyes out.
Gouges them out.
Yep.
And it does this weird. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the Instagram video for tomorrow if I can find a cut of it. But the weird laser effects, because when everybody's
Yeah.
hallucinating, they have all these weird like.
Well, their eyes are glowing and
like
shit.
the Dire
Yeah.
Straits effects. Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah.
And he's just like, and it gets really dramatic
I like
here.
it.
This is like Rudy Ray's move for an Oscar. Because he's just chewing the scenery. He's just like, Mama, is that you? And he sees his mom. He's like, Aunt Betty, I hate you, bitch. I hate you. And there's like an old lady with like a liquor bottle. You can tell she did some weird shit to him when he was a kid. And he's seeing the fucking demon woman, the angel of death, and because everyone sees the same thing when they're on PCP. So
The
people, don't try
hallucinatory
it.
plane.
If you want to know what it's like, watch this movie because everybody apparently has the same experience when they use PCP.
Yep.
And I don't know why they're even using it because it seems like a nightmare. I wouldn't want to fucking.
We could
ever
call
do
it
that.
the PCP Lodge.
So like Bucky shows up, he starts kicking some ass too, but he's like, I hate you, Aunt Betty. And then what happens, Griff?
Well, thankfully, Bucky finally gets a hold of Rudy and shakes him, and he's like, Bucky, it's you! I thought he snapped out of it.
So did I.
He doesn't. He's still in a fucking PCP rage, and there's still Sweet.
Well, he snapped something.
Yeah,
because
not Sweet Meat, but Stinger.
Stinger shows up. Sweet Meat's pill of the community.
Yeah, I know. I mixed
Stinger
up.
shows up, and then Rudy Ray strangles the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Snaps his neck. And then he's like, Mama! He just goes back to tripping,
Yeah.
and Bucky's like holding him, and the fucking movie ends right there.
Yeah.
It's just Rudy struggling with PCP rage. Guys, that's how the movie ends.
Yeah. Crazy. And I
Easily.
guess he wanted to leave you wanting more, and I wanted more. I was like, what the fuck?
Easily the best ending. We've done like 44 of these now or something.
40, I think, 2, I think we're
Whatever.
at. Well, whatever. Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
No.
I had a great
Fuck
rhyme,
you.
and you
Hey,
guys
hey,
dismissed
hey.
it. Yes.
I like you both.
Okay.
Let's bury this hatchet.
That's a guy. That's called a guy sucking up to get the number 1
I was
position.
going to say, this bitch is sucking up.
No,
And
we're-
we can
we're-
agree on that. Meet me halfway.
We're burying the hatchet
We had the whitest fucking high five just a minute ago. Dude.
because you guys didn't put your weight on
we
it.
didn't.
You know, we
I
didn't put our
totally
weight
didn't
on
put
it.
my weight on it. You put
Mike,
too much of your weight on it. I
Mike
put
is
no
the only
weight on
person
it.
who's going to know what just happened there, so let's go ahead and
Edit that out.
edit that out.
So-
That was as awkward as your rhyme earlier.
Fuck you. Oh, that rhyme was not awkward.
You know what you need? You need some Rudy Ray s'mores to
You do.
snap you out of it.
I don't remember there being a bar in that ad that tells me I'll learn to rhyme if I
You
eat
will. You
that.
will.
There's all kinds of
Dude,
hidden
I
benefits.
rhymed the whole thing.
Rhyme.
I learned how to rhyme by eating Rudy Ray s'mores.
God, I
those
wish-
are,
I
those are
wish
some sick rhymes.
rhyme in
I
any of
I
those.
spat fire, as the kid said 10 years ago.
Oh,
So, that's it.
that's it.
Mike, great to have you back.
Thanks for having
our
me.
most popular guest.
I'm so delighted. Not to shit on Pigeon here. It was just that Pigeon hit his on his first episode. And to have you come in, this is like your 5th or 6th episode.
87th episode.
You're
I've
87.
guessed it on
And
more
they're
episodes
all
than you've actually
underrated.
recorded.
He's done
They're all
more
underrated.
episodes with us than we've done canon episodes.
He's done more episodes than I've done, all right? He was
Yes.
playing me in a couple of the episodes.
That was really good acting.
Yeah,
there.
he's a great
Believe
mimic.
it. But man, it's always a thrill. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun to be here.
We really got to get Sean, Yacht Rock Sean back on here though.
Definitely.
Because
Yeah.
that man has, he's got some.
Well, he's hair metal Sean to me, but Yacht Rock Sean works too.
Well, he's got to get us a boat, so I'm going to keep.
Yeah,
calling
he's
him
a little
Yacht
bit of
Rock
both.
Should we talk about what he did
No,
for us?
we'll
Okay.
talk about it. We'll talk about it a little bit here.
Okay. So what we will talk about is next week's episode because Griff, black exploitation didn't end with the 70s. Maybe the term did, but we're got our chronological order. We've done the 70s. We're going into the 80s for next week, Griff.
I like this. I
because
need to go in the 80s.
black action heroes never stopped. As far as I'm concerned,
I need new drugs. I need new wardrobes. I need it all.
what you need is a new movie, and this movie is. Most people when you say, "Hey, who's the hero of Detroit?" Most people go RoboCop, and I go, "Fuck you."
Naturally.
It's not RoboCop. It's Jericho Action Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Played by our man Carl Weathers. Of course, you know him as Apollo Creed.
Oh,
you know
my
him from
God.
Predator. It's got you get that Prince protege, Vanity at her hottest. It's got a pre-Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone at her hottest. It's got a
Damn.
pre-Coach, Craig T. Nelson at his hottest.
What?
And that's what we're going to be talking about next week, Griff. But also, I think you have something you want to, because it is, tomorrow is Valentine's, and Rudy Ray Moore is like the most sensual, sexy star of all time. So he's got
Yeah.
something that you wanted to.
Guys, take it from me. I've got my button-down shirt down to the very last button, so my chest is blaring. I just want to harness all of Rudy Ray here. I know you talked to him. You didn't ask him about putting the weight on it and how much weight approximately that is. But I'm going to go ahead and channel him for a minute here, and I'm going to let you guys leave us this week with how to turn on your woman.
All right, so keep it warm, guys.
Keep it warm and
Keep it condiment free.
keep it condiment free. Turn on your woman.
Now, as I say to you, being a close encounter of the sex kind, you have got to learn what it takes to turn your woman on. I tell you, fellas, there is too much good pussy out here that's not being used right. Some of you motherfuckers fucks and some of you fucks around. Step one, when I say learn what it takes to turn your woman on, don't get on a piece of pussy and go up and down, up and down, up and down. That shit is for the bird. I want you to get on your woman and stand up in that pussy. I want you to back up and shake your ass and stroke and make your nuts hit her in the ass with each stroke. Step two, brothers, find out what it takes to turn your woman on, whatever it is. Put a double lip lock on them tits. You know what I'm talking about when I say put a double lip lock on the wobble. Suck the tip. I ain't lying. I know some of you motherfuckers can suck two titties at one time. A lot of you men will listen to this record and you'll be sitting up listening to it with your woman and you'll say, oh, honey, that man sure talk some heavy shit. Said, you know what I'm going to do to you tonight? I'm going to wear this pussy out tonight. Some of you motherfuckers know you ain't going to offer but one lousy hard. And she's going to be humping hard like a motherfucker trying to get her nuts. You going to throw the dick right down in the middle and she going to push that pussy up there. And about the time she thinks she's going to get her nuts, you simple, freakish motherfucker will stop her in the middle of a good fuck to ask something like, turn it good, baby. Ain't nobody fuck you like I fuck you, baby. Ain't all this my pussy, baby. Now I tell you, sometimes you fellas get on a piece of pussy and when you find out you're about to bust your nuts, don't bust your nuts on your woman and leave her there with her belly wet and sticky. Back up off the pussy and stop. When I say stop, motherfucker, stop. And don't be a motherfucker that gets on a piece of pussy and busts your nuts in 3 minutes. That's what I call a motherfucking oatmeal fucker. Fuck like a rabbit, bip bam, thank you, ma'am. When you get on a piece of pussy and fuck, I want you to work on that pussy like it's the last piece of pussy you're gonna ever get. And don't get on that woman and tell her, oh baby, I just want to put the head of it in. Ain't no motherfucker get on no hot pussy and just put the head of it in. Go on and put the whole thing in. Don't tell the woman you want to put half of it in. And I say to you fellas sometime, I want you to get on a piece of pussy and fuck with all your might. I want you to fuck your woman like it's the last piece of pussy you're gonna get. And look at your woman and say, this pussy is good as a government check. And you know that's damn good. If you want to eat, I know a lot of you motherfuckers can eat the lining out of a piece of pussy. I ain't lying. I saw a nigga the other night that ate so much pussy, we raised this motherfucker up and he looked like a glazed donut about the mouth. You know, I don't care what a woman is, if she's a doctor, nurse, teacher, or whatever she is. Any woman likes to be fucked good. So I tell you to get on the case. Fuck your woman with all your heart. And as I say, back up and shake your behind and make yourself a close encounter of the sex god.